Action.
Okay, what do you think evolution is?
What do I think evolution is?
What does it mean? Like, what do you think it
It has to do with science or science-based type.
is? Do you know what? Are you familiar with natural selection? It's like when one species is fitter than the other. So
Yeah, survival.
right, survival. All right, thank you. Okay, what do you think evolution is? Or what does it mean to you?
Our evolution and our evolution.
Okay. Do you know what natural selection is? Like survival of the fittest? Like how one animal survives more than another animal because they have different characteristics? Sure? Are you enjoying your spring break?
Yes.
Okay.
Just ask.
What do you think evolution is?
Evolution is us evolving and not sunburning.
There you go. What about natural selection?
If you sunburn too much, you're gonna die.
Survival. We have a few questions to ask you.
Why?
What do you think evolution is?
The man deriving from apes,
What about natural selection? What does that mean to you?
strongest survive.
There you go. All right.
Go.
So, what do you think evolution is in your own words?
The evolving of like an animal. I don't know, like something starts out like I have no idea.
Keep going. You're good. You're good.
So
talk
it's
it
like things change over time, survival of the fittest,
Exactly.
Darwinism, all that kind of stuff.
That was the best answer. Most of us hear the word evolution and think of the process by which species change and adapt, and maybe change into other species or go extinct. Evolution in general means change over time. Charles Darwin was the first person to give us a mechanism that explains how evolution, especially adaptation, can occur. Biological evolution is any changes to a gene pool. A gene pool is a combination of all of the genes in a population or alleles of a population. According to scientists, the gene pool should remain at equilibrium. This means that the frequency of the different alleles will never change unless you violate one of the 5 constraints of the Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium. Those 5 constraints are large size, random mating, no mutations, no migration, and no selection. Evolution is constantly occurring, and it can occur if you have a small population, non-random mating, mutations, migration, and even natural selection. Natural selection is when you live or die and can also be called differential reproduction success. In other words, you're made the way you are, and as the environment changes, you're selected. Either you have high fitness and you're able to survive and pass your genes on, or you have low fitness and you die. If you have enough fitness over time, that can eventually lead to adaptations in a population. So the smallest unit that can actually evolve is a population, and it simply changes in the gene pool. Natural selection leads to adaptation, or organisms that are better adapted to their environment. Here's Julia to further explain more on this.
Thanks, Shelby. One of the more popular case studies that best describes natural selection is going to be with the peppered moth. Now there's 2 different phenotypes. One is going to be the white peppered moth, and the second one is going to be the dark black moth. Now at first, the peppered moth seemed to be the more fit for its environment, camouflaging into the color and the pattern of the trees. Therefore, the black moth was more seen by predators and was eaten. Therefore, it wasn't surviving as well as the peppered moth. Now, during the Industrial Revolution, coal plants began emitting coal dust into the environment, making the trees a more darker color. Now, this made the dark moth more suitable for the environment because it had a dark color as well, allowing it to camouflage with the trees. Therefore, the peppered moth stood out more to predators and was eaten more often. So this case study really shows how having one characteristic versus another helps you survive in the wild, or makes you more fit for your environment. Overall, survival of the fittest.
Another example of natural selection that can be observed in humans is the development of the sickle cell trait.
Sickle cell anemia is a condition caused by a single mutation in the protein that makes blood. The mutation causes a malformation in the oxygen-carrying red blood cells and produces many health conditions that decrease chances of survival in people born with it. A mutation so harmful would be eradicated from the gene pool under normal circumstances. However, natural selection has allowed this mutation to continue on measurable scales in certain areas due to the fact that it makes individuals resistant to malaria. Therefore, in areas where malaria is prevalent, carriers of the sickle cell trait have increased chances of survival. Malaria was eliminated in the U.S. in the early 20th century thanks to the development of an effective vaccine, and since then, cases of sickle cell have dropped significantly and are dramatically less than in other parts of the world without access to the vaccine. This mutation is no longer beneficial to survival in the United States, so it occurs less and less over generations due to natural selection.